And now for the big cash of all, $9,000 to Colwell or Davis. And those are spectacular trousers, Carmen, something I would expect you to wear.
Oh, I think I'm a little past that stage. I'm a little too old for that. I wish I was young enough to wear trousers like that.
Paul is out of Tucson, Arizona, trying to win his first national title.
Paul has a tremendous concentration. You look at him, how he puts his ball in that hand, he gets his fingers set. Now, you see, here's a case where Dave Davis has a very strong impact. I would say as far as power is concerned, he throws one of the most powerful left-handed deliveries. Even the right-handed doesn't make any difference. His ball is a very powerful release, and that's why the other day when he was in 146, he came out here and he shot a 250-plus average to jump right up at the top. That's what makes these guys so great. They can be down low, but then they come right back and shoot those numbers at you.
Dave Davis cleans up with the spare in the fourth frame.
The hot lights is like a water puddle with sun. The water evaporates and the oil on the lanes evaporates, so you have a little more friction as each game progresses. And by the time Paul came on the lanes, he'd got to be hooking a lot more than the time he was practicing.
Who is there wearing the red scarf, applauding, sitting next to Mrs. Earl Anthony.
See, Brent, sometimes during a tournament now, the lanes are a lot slicker, and like I said earlier, the TV lanes could break down. Sometimes they try to oil them a little more so they don't break down, but in this particular case, it looks like the lanes have broken down quite a bit. Still a good surface out there, but the control was a little more difficult. Dave feels like he needs a re-rack, and he has to have the tournament director's approval, and they're looking at the pins now, and apparently the tournament director has approved it because they are giving him a re-rack now. What he feels is one of the pins was off spot a little too much, and it might affect his strike ball when he hits the pocket the way he would like to, and it won't carry if the pins are off spot.
Kerry Golden went over and immediately made the decision.
Now, you notice the angle that Dave shoots his spare from. He's going to the extreme right because the pin's on the extreme left and across the lane. So now he had footwork trouble again.
Dave Davis looking down at the floor. Paul Colwell shooting for his third straight strike, leading by 12 pins. And that's how Dave finds out what his opponent has done. He guesses, I think, Carmen.
Well,
There's no way he can tell.
No, I think he really doesn't care. He knows he has to bowl his game, and whatever the other guy's doing, I guess it's not important to him. But some players like to look, because sometimes when you get near the end of the game, you have to get a little count. Maybe you might play a shot a little differently.
Dave Davis will be coming up in the 7th frame. And when he does, he will be trailing by 10 pins. And you can bet he will look at the pins this time out here. I must say, Carmen, that the professional bowlers are probably as big a group of sports fans as I have ever encountered. They want to talk about baseball, basketball, football, everything.
Well, we have a lot of time between the blocks, and then we run back to that motel and want to watch that ball game or the football game or baseball. We're up with everything.
Davis, got late luck over there on the left side.
You notice he went right through the middle of the pins, and he was very fortunate to come out with just a 2-pin spare.
$12-10 difference. Dave Davis, who is up, is trailing Paul Colwell. The 8th frame.
Remember the last time he almost threw the ball in the gutter, so let's see if he gets, he's having trouble with that approach. He almost threw in the gutter again. That's going to go high.
And suddenly, the door is wide open.
I think he's going to go for it, because this time he's got to gamble a little bit.
Which is what he did. And his first open frame here in the championship. Came right back in the 9th frame. For Dave Davis in the 9th frame of the championship.
And there's a 2-pin advantage over Dave Davis has over Paul Colwell. And right now, those 2 pins are looking bigger and bigger, because they're both working on a strike. In the event that Dave Davis strikes out, he will then shut out Paul Colwell. So if he gets 3 strikes in the 10th frame, or 2 strikes at 9 pins, it's all over. But if he gets 2 strikes at 8 pins, Paul Colwell can strike out and tie him. And then again, we would have that roll-off. If he gets 2 strikes and 7 pins, Paul Colwell could strike out and beat him by 1 pin.
And as you can see, Dave Davis is getting a re-rack again. Harry Golden out there authorizing it.
This is a very critical ball, right? You'd like to get that first one. You could make this split. This is not one of those impossible type splits. This one, you want to hit the number 2 pin a little bit on the left side so that the ball deflects into the 7 pin. Just like this.
He did it.
Exactly right. Perfect. You notice that the ball hits the left side of the 2 pin, bounces over, and takes out the 7 pin.
There's his reaction to that shot.
Now, this is also a very important ball, because if he gets a 9-pin count, he forces Paul Colwell to throw a strike on the first ball. He knows he needs 9 or 10. Oh.
And got 8.
Well, now we're really set up for a possible tie. Because if Colwell gets a spare at a strike, it's a tie ball game.
Davis settling for a 191.
Now you have to remember, Paul was on this wing frame before and got a big split. So he's thinking about, I don't want to be too slow. I want to get that ball a little bit light. I don't want to go high.
In the 10th frame.
He's still not out of it now. He's not out of it. It looked like he slipped. His whole body was sideways. He can still make a spare. He's got to make a spare now. He gets this off. All 10 pins.
Paul Colwell.
Well, he needs one more. He needs a strike. If he gets a strike, we're going to have a tie ball game for the national championship.
Look at Paul Colwell.
A tie ball game.
Come back to tie it up. And now Davis and Colwell will go back to the 9th frame. Davis and the 9th.
Well, Paul is looking at those pins again, and he feels like he would like to have the rack re-racked. I think the head pin has a tendency to get off the spot on that lane on both sides, and that's a very key pin to 1 and 3. And the 1 and 2 for a lefty. So they're right now with all this tension, you don't want anything working against you. It's tough enough just to throw the ball good without having the pins off spot. See, that's the only thing in bowling you can't overcome. You can overcome the lane by changing angles or changing speeds, but if the pins are off spot, you can't overcome it.
Clean them out. Two in a row. There's the 9. Just as you set up, Carmen Salvino.
Oh, yes, definitely another possibility of a tie now. If Dave gets the first one, this is the key shot. Because if he doesn't strike here, it's all over. If he gets the first one and 9, we'll have another tie.
There's the strike.
He has to get a strike
To win the
to win the
championship.
championship. If he gets 8, he loses. 9, he can tie. A strike, a winner. Doesn't leave him much margin. He's stuck.
And 8.
He loses by 1 pin.
He has lost the title
By 1 pin.
to Paul Colwell. An amazing conclusion to this national championship, and there is your new title holder. And who would have imagined it about 8 minutes ago when Paul Colwell threw the gutter ball. Davis just rolls one down slowly and surely to end it. So it has ended here in Seattle. In overtime, Paul Colwell by a single pin over Dave Davis is the new national champion.